What is up, everyone? It is DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel. So today I just wanted to do a quick video on a review slash little things to think about when it comes to two of the biggest consoles out there for mobile gaming when it comes with the OneXPlayer and the Steam Deck. So I just kind of wanted to give you some of my positives and negatives that I've seen over testing and things like that. I'm just basically be talking positives and negatives. I'm not going to go into specs or review. If you want to see my reviews, I already did a review. So check those out there on the OneXPlayer and the Steam Deck. So this is going to be coming out a little bit later just to show you just ideas and quick thoughts on, if you're looking at both of these, the Steam Deck and the OneXPlayer, what I think of each of them and things like that. So hopefully it's a quick video and we can just get into little details like my opinions about what positives, negatives I think about both of them. So if you've never tuned into my channel, please lock into this channel. I do tons of reviews, tutorials, items. If I can afford it and I can get my hands on it, I will bring it to you. So I like to do tons of item reviews, get into them, do the research so you don't have to, try to find positives and negatives, and try to give it to you as easy as possible. Try to just help and let everyone know about these products. So thank you so much for tuning in. DJ Martini Midwest Reviews, and let's get into the video. So really quick, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Steam Deck right here is a portable gaming unit. It is almost like a portable PC. They're trying to make it a console with specifically made for Valve's software, so Steam OS 3.0, and you can get into it and play all your Steam library and all your games. Now there's a lot more that you can do with this, so I'm not, like I said, check out my review on this if you want to that, but I just kind of want to do a quick deep dish comparison on this and the OneXPlayer. So this is the Steam Deck, like I said, right here. So I love the build quality on this and the way it is set up. It fits my hands very well. It feels very comfortable. It's about 1.5 pounds. It's not very heavy. So I really like the Steam Deck for those types of things. The 7-inch screen is a decent sized screen and it feels way good in my hands. Now, the battery life is awesome. The price point is awesome at their top tier 512 gig etched glass, anti-glare, all the bells and whistles for $649. So that is a great deal when it comes to gaming systems like this, because that OneXPlayer, here's their beast at an 8.4-inch screen, dual triggers, bumpers, all that good stuff. This will run you probably $1,000, $1,100 for this model. They have a model in the 8.4 size for around $800. So that has a AMD Ryzen, I think it's a 5800U. This one is actually an i7, it's one of their earlier models. It has the 8.4-inch screen, and if we do a comparison here, you can definitely tell that the screen is bigger, but the actual units are about the same length and everything. So the side profile there, you know, this definitely has some fatter comfort grips here, so it does feel pretty good in my hand, like I said. So they did definitely get that back. They you know, you can hold this very well. It's very comfortable in my hands. This one is definitely a little bit heavier. I want to say it's 1.8 some pounds. It's almost 2 pounds. And triggers are nice though. They are made by Alpine, so they do have some very nice buttons and physical touches on the sticks as well. The D-pad feels well. They do have extra buttons to get you through the menu and everything. It does have a screen protector on it, but it does have that 8.4-inch screen. It is a little bit louder when it comes to fan noise and things like that. It does have a metal kickstand here, which the Steam Deck does not have, so that is an extra feature as well with the 8.4-inch screen. It does have extra ports, so you do have a USB 3.0 and 2 USB Type-Cs. Only one of them collects power though, so you want to make sure you plug into the right power one. You have a 3.5mm jack. It does have Bluetooth. This is a Windows device, so you can do everything Windows on it. So just some things to think about there. You do have a mute button and volume buttons on the back as well. So just something to think about when it comes to the Steam Deck here. You can see how they're definitely made different. But like I say, winner for build, oh man, it's kind of close, but I have to give it to Steam Deck because this feels very comfortable. And if you notice on the front right away that the sticks are at the top. They're both at the top, just built right at the top. And you can see this is built more like a controller where you kind of have a lower stick and an upper stick, and the D-pad, you know, at the top on the One X. So definitely the build is different, but I love the way that the Steam Deck feels in your hand. It feels very, very comfortable. And so I do like that about the Steam Deck. So I would give it 1 point to the Steam Deck for build quality and for the way it feels in your hands. You know, as a controller, it feels awesome. So I will give that to the Steam Deck. I also will give battery to the Steam Deck. Battery life is very awesome. I would say 2 to 3 hours even playing a top AAA game, and it's plug and play. You just plug in your outlet into the Steam Deck and you charge it 2 to 3 hours, it's good to go. You use it 2 to 3 hours, it's good to go. It'll even last longer if you're not doing AAA games, if you're watching videos, if you're doing other things, maybe with the desktop open that you can do on this, you will get longer battery life. So you can do a lot of things with the Steam Deck. You can even put Windows on it if you prefer. It just depends on what you want to do with the Steam Deck, but there is a lot of hoops if you start doing other things with it. It is a Linux-based item here that you have to have a little bit of a learning curve if you've never used something like this device. Charging, battery life, I still think that goes to the Steam Deck as well. So what about you know, graphics and, you know, speeds and things like that? Well, they're very even though they use different things. Like I said, this particular has an i7, Tiger Lake, all that kind of stuff, and this has an AMD Zen 2 split into GPU and CPU, two different things mixed into one card. So they're kind of made particularly different, but you can basically just know that you can do AAA games and a lot of different things on both of them very, very well. They both, in my models, they both have SSDs, they have fast storage, things like that. So all of that, I would give both of them, in my opinion, since I'm not a tech guru, I would say they're both even enough that you can get all the stuff done that you want to do, and you can get it done very, very well. So we'll put it that way. So I will give them both the same score on that particular thing. Now, screen, you think that 8.4-inch screen is nice? It is. It is nice to have a bigger screen. Things are bigger. They appear bigger. Both of them look nice. Well, this has a 1200 by 800 screen, and the OneXPlayer actually has a 2560 by 1600 in the 2.5K, which just give you some added colors. It is IPS screen. It's 8.4. Runs on AMD, so I think actually the screen colors and things like that look a little bit, watching movies, things like that on the 8.4-inch screen is more enjoyable actually as well. So screen wise, yes, I'm going to give it to the OneXPlayer just because it's bigger. It does have a little bit more pixel rating and things like that. There's still 60 hertz, but it does give you just a little bit more resolution, and colors and things like that look a little bit better on the OneXPlayer, but that's only in my opinion. You know, eyes are eyes, and everybody's eyes are going to be seeing things different. So screen size and resolution, I'm going to have to give it to the OneXPlayer. The software, Steam Deck 3.0 Arch-based Linux system is what you have on the Steam Deck, and you're going to run Windows 10, depending on what model you get, or Windows 11. I do have Windows 11 on my particular unit that I have. It was easy to put on there. It has all the bells and whistles of Windows 11, and I am a Windows 11 user. So, of course, I am going to say Windows 11 does win on this, and only because Windows 11 keeps on getting better, in my opinion, for tablet and small devices. With a keyboard, with a mouse, you can do anything on this little mobile PC, and that's what it is. It's a little mobile PC, so I can do anything I want. I can take it with me anywhere. It's very portable. It comes with a super awesome case that I have back behind me. It does come with a keyboard as well that does physically magnetically go on to the OneXPlayer. And so it's absolutely fantastic. I would consider having a mouse if you have a Bluetooth mouse or something like that. Having things like that make working on things like this very easy, but it does have a nice little button that can switch it from like a game mode to a desktop type mode, where you can use this stick as a mouse and actually use the triggers as, you know, pointers on there, which makes it pretty easy. So I don't understand why people gripe about Windows on little devices like this when the companies think and find ways around for you able to use it with the device without extra devices. Now, the keyboard is sometimes hard to use when you're using the Windows computer keyboard, because it actually blocks what you're trying to see. So that's a pain in the butt sometimes. So using little the keyboard that you can use with it, the magnetic keyboard or an aftermarket keyboard like this, is definitely helpful sometimes, especially with setup and things like that. But for the most part, like I said, I am a Windows-based person, so I guess I'm jaded. I do like a Windows device. I just find it easier. There's not extra workarounds that I have to do. I just know that I have to work with Windows and that I can put all my things on it. Xbox, mobile, Epic, Steam. I can put all those within Windows. So what is the problem there? Now, I know this was made for the Steam OS system, so it's made only for Steam, but there is a lot of workarounds for you to pull in Epic and pull in working with Xbox and stuff like that with the Steam Deck. So definitely options there, but like I said, you have to go through hoops to be able to do that, and so it's just easier to work with Windows in my opinion. But if you are a Steam based user, you have Linux based computers, then the Steam Deck is a great option for you, because you're going to know how to use, you know, like the desktop a lot easier. There's no learning curve for you. Also, all your games are based out of Steam anyways, so you're really going to enjoy using this. Mine are not based out of Steam. I have a lot of Epic games that I use and a lot of Xbox games that I use and things like that. So there is some extra hoops to use the Steam Deck and get all that on there, okay? Which I don't have on things like the OneXPlayer. So I will have to give my thoughts to the Windows-based platform. And I know people argue with me about that, but that's just what I'm used to, and there's no learning curve to be able to do that. So that's where I'm at there. The one last thing I want to talk about is, once again, a little negative with the OneXPlayer is charging. I've had so many issues with charging the OneXPlayer. The OneXPlayer only charges out of one port, so you have to make sure you use the correct port, and it actually has a little mark on the top here, a little plug-in mark right there. And so you have to make sure that you always plug it in the right port to charge, and you have to make sure that you have a correct adapter. Now, I've found this one from Anker. It works very well. It is a 65-watt charger, and it does exactly that. And that's what you need for the OneXPlayer, is 65 watts. I've also found one from Heisei back here, which is a 100-watt charger, but it would also have a second jack that does 65 watts exactly, and it puts out the correct amps, so it's like 3.5 amps. And that has to be really correct, because I did buy other chargers that do not put out the correct, they only put like 2.5 amps, and it will not charge the OneXPlayer. Also, I've had issues with the OneXPlayer charging while being plugged in. It simply just won't charge. In my particular issue, it won't charge while it's plugged in. It's just not getting enough juice to charge while I'm using it. So that's an issue for me when it comes to the OneXPlayer, which I don't have with the Steam Deck. So just something to think about. It's really picky on charging, and then the factory charger that came with this particular OneXPlayer is just garbage in my opinion, and died really quick and just didn't work very well. So just some things to think about is aftermarket chargers. Make sure if you do need 65-watt cords that will produce, the cords are correct. Some USB Type-C cords won't move that kind of energy, so make sure you get the right cords and the right chargers to make sure it'll charge your OneXPlayer. So just some things to think about with the OneXPlayer. The charging system is very, very picky. The battery life is very, very picky. I only probably get a solid 2 hours. I won't get more than 2 hours. I probably get a solid 2 hours playing my favorite game. Doing other things, you can probably get 2 to 4 hours not doing everything, but the Steam Deck definitely gets props for battery life. So with all that said, what do I think about and which one do I use more? Okay, the Steam Deck is awesome for what it is and it's very comfortable to use, but I do find myself going to the Windows device. Like I said, I'm just used to that. I find myself going to a Windows device a little bit more. I like the 8.4 inch screen on the OneXPlayer. It just feels a little bit more comfortable, looks a little bit better. This is heavier, and so I tend to prop it on things, but it just is easier to use in my opinion because it is a Windows-based device. Now, if the Steam Deck was a Windows-based device, I'd probably use that device a little bit more, which you can make it. But like I said, you have to step through some extra hoops to get that done. I do have Windows on the Steam Deck. As soon as I can figure out, I have Windows Go set up on it. As soon as I can figure out a like dual boot mode, which would work out a little bit better, that way I wouldn't have to hook up extra hard drives. I could just use it on the go with what it is. Then it might work a little bit better for me. But till then, I'm still using the OneXPlayer just a little bit more than the Steam Deck. I do like them both, don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, the screen, having a little bit bigger screen, gives you a little bit more options when you're doing it. Also, having the Windows-based systems gives you a little bit more options, in my opinion, to be able to get more things on the device. Other things that you don't think about, like actually work stuff that you might need, that you could get on the Linux-based system, but it's going to take you more work and, you know, finding programs and label arts and things like that to get it done. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's more work than just having a Windows-based system that you can just easily do it like a laptop. And that's what this OneXPlayer is. It's just like a little mobile laptop with a mini screen. So both of them can get stuff like that done, but just a little bit more hoops with the Steam Deck. So I like them both. In fact, I love them both. They're very, very cool tech. If you are interested, I would recommend either one of them. I'm just saying I particularly, in my opinion, like the OneXPlayer just a little bit more, has a little bit more quality in the screen, a bigger screen. I can handle the ergonomics and a little extra weight for what I'm doing. Those types of things with the OneXPlayer. But Steam Deck did get it right, in my opinion, with the way they built theirs and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not a Linux-based type person. Also, I'm going to be looking into the GPD Win 3, which is very, very, very cool. I'm definitely going to be doing a review on that as well coming up soon, and maybe comparing all three of them and letting you know what I think. So one last thing that I think I should probably put out there is they both have ways to upgrade the memory. You can use micro SD cards. The Windows-based system is very easy. You can transfer all your information, like if you have a SD card and you want to transfer some games on there and then put them on your Steam Deck, or sorry, on your OneXPlayer, you can do that. You can't do that with the Steam Deck because it's a Linux-based system, unless you have a Linux-based computer and things like that to transfer information. It's a little bit more hard to do that because once you lock in your micro SD card with the Steam Deck, it's only going to work with Steam Deck, you know, capability software, so, or a Linux-based thing. So just something to think about if you're a Windows person and you have nothing but Windows and no Arch-based Linux programs or things like that. It's harder to transfer information. So just something to think about. Also, now for both of these devices, I would definitely recommend having extra things, like make sure you get a screen protector, make sure you have a case for them. All of these have excellent cases that they make out there for them. I would definitely recommend having some kind of USB hub so you can hook up extra things like extra USB ports, USB Type-C ports, maybe a LAN, you want to hook it straight up to the internet, HDMI, so you can hook it up to a monitor, use it as a desktop. Having a USB hub like this is very, very necessary in my opinion if you have a little mini device and you want to kind of use it for a little extra than gaming. So something you want to look into. I'll put a couple out there. Also is a mouse, some kind of little mouse with a Bluetooth mouse or a dongle mouse will work as long as you have a USB hub like that to be able to hook up some extra things with it. So definitely have a mouse. And then also I just had my keyboard here, but a little portable keyboard that's under my Steam Deck here. A little portable keyboard like this is excellent. You could actually have like a full keyboard as well that's Bluetooth or things, but some kind of keyboard is a nice little extra to have, especially when you're working with little devices that don't have keyboards. You definitely want something at least. Something that you might want to invest in is definitely have some of these extra things. If you buy a little device like this, just because it makes it a heck of a lot easier to use when you're doing setup or setting up programs or things like that, having extra devices like that, very important to invest in some memory. So definitely look into micro SD cards, things like that. I have a great little video on a little micro SD card review on some good cards out there. So definitely look into micro SD cards because you will need to add memories to these, especially if you're getting a lot of games and things like that. So a nice micro SD card or a good USB thumb drive with a hub are some things that you might want to look into. So thank you so much. Those are just some extra little tips if you're thinking about buying devices like the Steam Deck or the OneXPlayer, some extra little devices that you're going to want to look into and possibly get. All right, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for tuning in. It's been DJ Martini West review on these two devices, and let me know what you think. What are some of the top priorities that you would put on both of these, and just let us all know. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. DJ Martini Midwest Reviews, and I'm out.